Good morning, everybody. I hope that you all are having a good morning. I know I am having a good start to my morning. I got my little workout in, so I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling ready to go. Today's episode is going to be on goal setting, and as usual, I'm going to start it off with a quote. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. That's a quote by Confucius. The reason that I decided that I wanted to do a podcast on goal setting is because I've talked about it, laterally in so many of my other podcasts. But goal setting is a very important part of achieving anything that you want. Goal setting is the compass to the roadmap of your life. And without that compass, if you embark on the journey of life, whatever happens or where you end up without goal setting is totally by chance. It's not up to you. Um, Goal setting helps you do a lot of things that can help you in the long run. Because goal setting is about taking bite-sized pieces of your dream and using that to sustain you until you accomplish it or finish the race. Um, there's a famous saying out there. I'm not sure who says it, but or who said it, but it says luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And a big part of that preparation is the goal setting. If you want to buy a car, you need to, and then you don't have that large sum of money. If you set a goal to save up so much money over a period of time, when that when you get lucky and find that car that's on sale or that's a great deal, then you happen to have that money. That's the preparation meeting the opportunity. So you've in fact created your own luck. Some of the things that goal setting can do, I'm sorry, is determine if you are on track to accomplish your goals, and that's on a timeline perspective because you can't manage what you do not measure. So, in order to be able to make sure that you're on track and that you're doing what you need to do to accomplish your goals or to accomplish your dream, you set goals to act as little objectives within the major mission. To determine what areas you need to develop. This is where reading books, seeking out people who know more than you, who are better than you in business, other individuals who are trying to look or trying to do what you're doing currently. Um, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that sentence. Find other individuals who are doing currently what you want or are trying to do. There we go. I got a little bit tongue twisted. Basically, any area that you need development. I'm big in the mind, body, spirit. So if you need to develop one of those to get yourself back in balance, then goal setting is something that'll help you do that or identify that. Determine if what you are doing currently is helping you or hurting you. Are the actions that you are taking currently in this moment, present day, are they drawing you closer to your goal or taking you further away from your goal? Goal setting or your dream. I'm sorry, I'm using goal. Your goals should help take you closer to your dreams. Um, Another way to look at this is just from a military perspective. I'm sure there's a different acronym out there for civilians. But if you have a mission, right? The mission is the overarching theme. Within that mission, there are objectives that you need to hit in order to ensure that that mission is accomplished. Think about building a house. So the house is the mission, but all the things that you have to do in the action of building that house would be the objectives. So your goals are the objectives in the mission of what you want to do, be, become, so on and so forth. Um, it forces you to be accountable to yourself. If you look in the mirror every day, if your goal is to lose weight and you're not hitting your goals or meeting the objectives that you set for yourself, you're going to have to look in that mirror and you're going to have to be accountable. You don't look like who you want to be, or you're not the size that you want to be, the shape, the strength that you want to be. Goal setting is a way of looking in the mirror and holding ourselves accountable for our dreams. So day in and day out, what are you doing to get a step closer to your dream? It breaks your dream into smaller bite-sized pieces. We talked about that. They have another famous saying. I'm not sure who started it. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. If you look at your dreams and your goals and see how far you have to go, sometimes that can be demotivating. So what you need to do is take your dream, break it up into bite-sized pieces, and then when you break it up into those bite-sized pieces, it gives you something to aim for a little bit shorter, and then it'll pull you through to eventually accomplishing your dream. Like something I did in the Marine Corps, we have to run 3 miles. And if you look at the 3 miles, in total, that can be kind of demotivating, especially if you're out of shape. But if you're running your 3 miles and in the process of running the 3 miles, you just set objectives within that 3 mile, it helps. Like I used to tell myself, I'm just going to run to this light pole. All right, you run to that light pole. All right, I'm just going to run to this fire hydrant. You run to the fire hydrant. Okay, I'm just going to run to this building. You run to this building. And you just focus on doing that. And eventually you're going to leapfrog your way to 3 miles instead of just worrying about running the whole 3 miles. I mean, the pain and the fatigue is going to be there, but you're creating little bite-sized pieces in which you can attack your dream. And lastly, it can help you sustain momentum. This is exactly what I was talking about. You just need to build momentum and keep that momentum, and eventually you'll finish. The most important thing is getting started, because if you get started, then you just have to keep momentum, and then eventually you'll finish. Now, the time frame in which you complete or achieve your dream is totally up to you, but not starting running the 3 miles is not going to get it completed. Now, you can either run, jog, or walk the 3 miles, and that'll greatly determine what time frame you complete it in, but having that momentum will still get you a whole lot further than not running that 3 miles at all. Bill Gates says most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. It's about taking bite-sized pieces. Rome wasn't built in one day. You're not going to become an NBA player in one day. You're not going to become an NFL player in one day. You're not going to become, an engineer in one day, a pilot. You're not going to become, state wrestling champion. It takes daily, consistent, small efforts in the right direction to achieve these overarching goals. Are you preparing your mind, reading books, studying? Are you preparing your body, working out, eating the right stuff? Are you preparing your spirit, being centered and grounded and dealing with all the traumas and things that may hold you back or cause blocks in your life? All of this stuff are all of these things are little aspects of the greater picture, which is why I preach so much on being centered. Because, if you're centered, if your mind, body, and spirit are working with one another and you're balanced, then, you could face plenty of hardships in life, but it's not gonna, knock you down, and even if it does knock you down, you'll have the strength and resiliency to get up. But that's all about how you prepare, in the off season for when that time does come. And eventually it is going to come, because polarity, if you're going through a good season right now, a bad season is coming. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm just saying there's balance. And, even if you look at it in school, you learn something, and then a test comes. You hate tests, you may not like tests or exams or whatever, but eventually that test is coming. So just look at it like that. It's not a negative thing, but it's inevitable. It's a part of life. Things can't be fine and dandy forever. Something is going to come that's going to test you. Now, this next little bit of the podcast, like always, I do a little bit of research on the topic. I just don't want to throw my knowledge in there. I want to throw, some other stuff that can back up what I'm saying, so you can see, from a different perspective what somebody else has to say. For this episode, I went to the Positive Psychology website, which I'm going to take the link and I'm going to put it in the show notes. But in this website, they talk about, the importance of goal setting. And this article speaks about two individuals, Edward Locke and Gary Latham, and it's around, the year 1990. So these two individuals are leaders in goal setting theory. And according to their research, goals not only affect behavior as well as job performance, but they also help mobilize energy, which helps lead to a higher effort overall. Higher effort leads to an increase in persistent effort. So Locke and Latham also stated that there are 5 goal-setting principles that can help improve your chances of success. The first one is clarity. The second one is challenge. The third one is commitment. The fourth one is feedback. And the fifth one is task complexity. So let's dive into that a little bit and talk about those. Complexity. Complexity is important when it comes to goal setting. Setting goals that are clear and specific eliminate the confusion that occurs when a goal is set in a more generic manner. So this is being specific with your goal. You can't just say I'm gonna compete in a marathon. Okay, that's cool. You know, but what do you have to do to compete to the marathon? You're not just gonna get out there and run 3 miles, especially if you haven't been doing anything to prepare for it. So I'm gonna compete in a marathon is the mission. But what are the objectives within that mission? So be specific. I'm gonna run 1 mile every I'm gonna run 1 mile every day and increase my mileage every week. So the first week you're gonna run 1 mile for 5 days. The second week you're gonna run 2 miles for 5 days. The third week you're gonna run 3 miles for 5 days, and so on and so forth. But you need to be specific about your goals. And we're gonna go into a formula that I have found works for me and is very common in goal setting. The second one is challenge. So, challenging goals stretch your mind and cause you to think bigger. This helps you to accomplish more. Each success you achieve helps you build a winning mindset. And this is the whole thing of objectives. So, when you build the house, you got to lay the foundation. You lay the foundation, then and excuse me, I might get this wrong because I don't build houses, but you lay the foundation, then you set up the framing. You got the frame of the house. Maybe you put up the walls next, do the wiring, and it's gonna be challenging, because there's many parts to building a house. It's a complex endeavor. I'm not gonna try to play it down at all, but that challenging aspect of the goal gives you a better sense of completion or having have done something than if it was just I'm gonna build a shed. Well, shoot, I don't know how to build a house but I've built a shed, and building a shed is vastly less complicated than building a house. So, I mean, it was challenging nonetheless because I didn't grow up building sheds or houses, but I had to do it as a part of my MOS in the military. It was a project. So, completing that project in and of itself made me feel a little bit more accomplished, and it was one step closer in me achieving my goal of being MOS proficient in the military. Commitment. Commitment is also important. If you don't commit to your goals with everything you have, it is less likely you'll achieve it. Back to the 3 miles analogy. You can either run 3 miles, you can jog it, or you can walk it. Yes, you've built that momentum, but are you committed to finishing in a certain time, or are you just committed to running the 3 miles? Your level of commitment determines how fast you achieve the goal, and in some aspects, it may determine if you miss the train because you might not be in the right place for the right opportunity. Again, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So if you're not preparing properly when the opportunity presents itself, then you're not going to be able to take advantage of it, and you're not going to be lucky. And lastly, feedback. I'm sorry, there's 2 more. Feedback is the next one. Feedback helps you know what you are doing right, and how you are doing this allows you to adjust your expectations and your plans of action going forward. You can get feedback from yourself, from others, but I would be wary of who you get your feedback from, because you need to get your feedback from those who love you and those who care about your success, not those who don't want to see you win or don't want to see you succeed. So, and that's, again, we've talked about this in other podcasts. It's about the company you keep. So you want to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who are doing what you're doing or doing what you want to do, and who can give you positive feedback on the ways of getting to where they are or doing something better. And the last one now, this time I got it right, is complexity. Task task complexity is the final factor. It's important to set goals that are aligned with the goal's complexity. So again, this goes to building the house. When you're building the house, there are going to be, complex. I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't get it right today. Complex tasks within building that house. And you have to make sure that your goals are aligned with the complexity. You don't want to come into something underprepared. If you know that you want to build the house and your goal is to install those wires or to build the house from the ground up, then maybe in preparation for accomplishing that goal, you need to have the right people on deck to accomplish that goal, or in place in the position to help you if you can accomplish that goal yourself. Having a strong team around you or people in support of you to help you accomplish the things you want to accomplish is a very important part of getting to where you want to be as well. So this article is jam-packed with tons of great information. I'm going to go back and read it through again in its entirety. It's a great article, and I almost feel like I'm cheating you guys by not posting this whole article. But then, I could do a podcast on this whole article by itself. It stands up that well. So I just took some major parts from it, but I would encourage you to click on the link that's in the show notes and to take a dive into this article, because you might find some of this stuff extremely helpful. In the article, so they also go on to mention 2 attributes that they have studied in relations to performance. And these 2 attributes are content and intensity. In regards to content, the 2 aspects that have been focused on includes specificity and difficulty. Goal content can range from vague to very specific, as well as difficult or not difficult. We've talked about that already. You got to be specific about what you want and how you're going to get there. And then that level of difficulty and complexity will add to your sense of achievement and accomplishment. But you got to make sure that if you set a difficult goal, that you're willing to have the commitment to persevere and to get through what you're setting ahead for you. This is where you have to be driven as opposed to motivated, because motivation is fleeting. You can be motivated at 10 p.m. and then that motivation will be gone by 10:30 or 12 o'clock. But if you're driven, you wake up with a purpose. You wake up with a drive. Nobody has to tell you what to do, because you know what you have to do. You've written your goals and you live each and every day according to what your goals are, because you know that in accomplishing your goals on a daily basis, that's going to drive you closer to your dream and the things that you want to do. You have to make sure that your goals are clear and reachable. And the way to do that is, now this isn't from the article anymore. This is the formula that I have found. Is not my formula. It's something that I have seen since I was a young boy in high school. And I'm sure the people listening to this have also had classes on this formula as well. It's called SMART goal making, and the formula is SMART. That's the acronym. So SMART goals, when somebody sits you down and they talk to you and they're like, "Hey, are you making SMART goals?" They're not saying like, "Are you making strategic goals?" Like, "Are you, navigating this or navigating that?" Which is a part of it, but in most circumstances or settings, they're talking about this SMART acronym. So what SMART stands for is specific, which in that, the subcategories underneath that are simple, sensible, and significant. The second one is measurable. So is it meaningful and motivating, or does it drive you? The third one is achievable. Do you agree with that goal, and is it attainable? Is it something realistic? Relevant. Is it reasonable, realistic, and are you resourced to get it? And can it be results based? Like you look at that goal, like in 6 months, will the results of what you've done in your life or in that 6 month time frame satisfy that goal? Can you measure that goal? Basically, on paper or in time. And then last one is time bound. So time based, time limited, timely, time sensitive. You got to hold yourself accountable. Because if you say like I'm going to be a doctor, but you don't really give yourself a time frame, like how you you can't you can't measure what you don't. I'm sorry, you can't manage what you don't measure. That's the quote. I was trying to think of it, but I just went back and looked. You can't manage what you don't measure. So keeping that all in mind, goal setting, we should make goal setting a priority. Even if, it's just a daily thing. Like you're not just practice on a daily basis, like goals. Like I want to wake up, brush my teeth, get my clothes ready, go to work. I want to do this at work, get off at this time. I want to do this before I go to bed. I want to go to bed at this specific time so I can wake up early. Before I go to bed, I want to do this, and this so that when I wake up early, it won't be a hindrance to what I want to do. You could practice goal setting on this level first. And then, once you've mastered goal setting on a daily basis or at a smaller level, then you could try to goal set, something higher, you know. And when you're goal setting, dream big, reach for the sky, reach for the stars. It's nothing's impossible. We can't all do everything, but we can definitely do something. We're all built differently, have different talents, different gifts, and you should utilize those different I'm sorry, tongue twisted. We should all utilize those different talents and gifts and bring it all into our community and into our workplace to make everything better at the end of the day. Because we are the constant in our environment. Everything that happens in our environment, we are the constant. So if we want change or if we want to experience change, then we need to be the change that we want to see. So have a good day, everybody.